First of all, the greatest thing on the planet is the knowledge of self, and basically the knowledge of the universe. For the mere fact that you are even interested in this or remotely interested in this at this particular time when shit is going on crazy out here, it means that you are the special evolved beings. Stop thinking like a human. You got to start thinking as a God. G-O-D, generator, operator, and destroyer. Is it not written in your law that ye are God? John chapter 10, verse 34, 35. But what is the hold up is that the actual gods do not realize they're God.
Hey, these brothers. First thing I want to say, man, is it's good to be going live, man. I believe this is my first time going live in 2025, and to be honest, it could have been maybe even 6 months, man. So it feels good, man, to blow the dust off some of this equipment, man, and to be able to fellowship with my brothers and my sisters in real time, man. I believe that live is something we need to bring back. I believe that the aspect of us being able to talk about certain things face to face, answer questions in real time is vital. It's very important, man, to our success as brothers, man. Today, brothers, I want to talk about finding your way, man. And when I talk about finding your way, I would have to say one of the main things I'm speaking on is, first off, becoming aware of things. Becoming aware, I'm talking about that moment when man becomes aware that everything that he thought was true, everything that he thought was norm, everything that mom and daddy, grandmama and them taught him, that all of that wasn't actually true. That there were more things going on this planet. There were more mountains to move, man. There were goals to be crushed outside of its norm, right? So when I talk about finding your way, of course, I'm talking about that first level of awareness. And of course, I'm talking about what comes after awareness. I'm talking about a man finding his purpose. I'm talking about a man traveling his path. I'm talking about a man, overcoming his traumas. A man, just avoiding or overcoming all the pitfalls that come with being aware that a new world exists. And ultimately, brothers and sisters, I'm talking about the journey to finding self. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Yeah. We can get on the World Wide Web all we want to, man. We can talk about obtaining all the shiny things, the big cribs, the fast cars, the beautiful women, the beautiful men. But at the end of the day, man, we can obtain all these things. Nothing really matters if we haven't found, and not only found, but conquered self. And all that falls up under the category of finding your way, man. The brothers that I want to bring on to talk about this particular topic, man, are some brothers that are very, when I say very, extremely special to me, man. For some reason, when I think about these brothers, man, I think about the book. There's a verse in the book of James that says, "Be ye not hearers, but doers of knowledge." If there are two men that I know that can stand on that, man, it's these two brothers that I want to bring on here today, man. I've seen these brothers, of course, these brothers are members of the Power Circle. I've seen these brothers take information that they've heard in the Power Circle, take information that they've brought into the Power Circle, take information that they've heard from a variety of sources, and not only study it to show themselves approved, but to move in it. And the fact that they move in it, man, their lives are doing some amazing things. And I'll tell you, man, these brothers haven't even begun to scratch the surface on what they're going to do over the next 1 year, 2 year, 10 years until death, right? These two men, they both hail from Colorado. They both are prominent members of the Power Circle. From the Power Circle, these two brothers met and started a YouTube channel called Warriors Way Home. Make sure you subscribe to that channel before this call is over with. And have recently, over the last few months, have started a very needed business and that business is getting ready to do well. They're already impacting brothers from all corners of the globe, man. So today, man, I want to welcome my brothers, founders of Warriors Way Home, the brothers, Brother Travis and Brother Edmund.
Appreciate that, man.
It's been a long time, brothers, man. I know we I've been on y'all's live. We've been live together, man, but we definitely need to be doing this more often than we do, man. Every time y'all brothers are chopping on the circle, or we have just one-on-one chop sessions just talking about what we talk about, y'all brothers are always dropping gold. And one thing that stands out about y'all, every time I talk to y'all, it's like a marker has been set and y'all are talking about the next rally point every time we're talking, man. So y'all brothers are definitely the brothers that are moving, man. Let me just start off by giving y'all brothers y'all's flowers, man. Let me just say, first off, I'm proud to call y'all my brothers, man, because I see what y'all doing. I'm proud to call y'all my brothers, man, because I see y'all living y'all's truth, both as a team and both individually. And ultimately, man, I'm glad to call y'all my brothers because I see y'all. I see what y'all are doing, and y'all are. I see y'all leaving like your mark in real time, and that's just a beautiful thing to watch, man. So I want to give y'all flowers up front, man. Glad to have the brothers on, man. Give them another round of applause.
Appreciate that, man.
What's good? What's going on?
One day that's gonna be in person. We're gonna be able to be on the stage together, and we're gonna be hearing the whole crowd cheer for us, man.
It's gonna be 2025. I'm already working on it.
Hey, can't wait, man.
Yeah. Good to see y'all's face, man. Hey, I want to jump right into something, bro. Let me get my screen set up right.
Hey, man, that intro, bro.
Say again.
For real.
that intro you had, man. It's like I was like, man, I was thinking we got to step our game up, bro. It's like that intro kicked it out the water, bro. I was like, damn.
Oh man. Hey, let's get right into it, brothers. Get right into it. Hey, one thing that I love that y'all talk about, that it seems so simple. It seems so simple, so minute. It's a lot of things that people really miss, is masculinity. Like as important as that is to, I'll say it like this. Like we always talk about the journey. We talk about finding your way. Like I don't think a lot of people understand how important finding that part of yourself, is to fulfilling that journey. So I want to start off diving into masculinity, man, because when masculinity comes to my mind, the first thing I think about is like what has happened, what is taking place, man. I don't know if it's been the Me Too movement. I don't know if it's been, the fact that women are more empowered in this era of time. I don't know if it's the fact that a lot of fathers are missing. So when it comes to masculinity, and I'll start with you, Brother Travis, what do you think the deal is? Like why is masculinity at an all-time low, if we say it like that?
Oh man. So yeah, man, what you said is key, and we talk about a lot on the channel is and we define it as honorable masculinity. It's like that. It becomes a different thing because there's so many guys are talking about masculinity now. It's almost become a buzzword, and it's like, well, what are we? What's our spin on it? It's like an honorable man is what you want to be in. I think the biggest thing I'm seeing, man, is standards. Is like a lot of guys, we don't grow up with standards in place. I think one huge key you hit on was fatherless homes, man. It's like guys not having a representation of what manhood is for themselves is absolutely probably the thing that's hit us the hardest, I would say. I know it hit me personally the hardest is not having like a solid representation of somebody guiding me along, like, hey, this is how we move. We spoke about it on a video that we did about guys having in the past, they had a community surrounding them of when you were coming into manhood that took you from being that boy to becoming that man and showed you, how to move, what a warrior is, how to hunt, how to treat people, how to move with respect in your community, how to be respected in your community. And that's not something that we have anymore. It's like we don't have, even if a guy doesn't have that dad there, there was a time where there'd be the uncle or the neighbor or, the pastor or the teacher or the coach or somebody like that who took him under the wing when he knew, it's like, hey, this dude is flying solo. It's like we can't just leave him out here in the cold. We need to bring him in and show them how to be a man. Otherwise, he's gonna come in this world and be destructive.
Facts.
Which we have a lot going on right now.
Yeah. And you know what, man? You said something that made me think about something. Like when I grew up, and I had the advantage, man. I had my father in my life at least till I was 12 years old. And even though I went those crucial years without him, I can see the advantage of having my father at the time I did, right? Mm-hmm. But I think the one thing that young men get confused when it comes to masculinity, they think that toughness means masculinity, and it doesn't necessarily. In other words, like when I was growing up, the dudes with the pants sagging and the hats low and G'd up on the corner, like since I didn't have a man in my life to say, okay, this is what it is, I just strictly went to the tough men, you know, or the pseudo, whatever you want to call that, right? And I think a lot of men take that same energy and grow into their adults with this same energy, not understanding, man, the balance of masculinity. Like masculinity, of course, it has that dark side of being able to take care of business and tap into that energy if you need to. But masculinity is also understanding and loving. And a lot of guys lack that balance, man.
Or it's the other way around. Yeah. Or it's the other way around, where a lot of guys are, growing up with only moms and they're becoming very feminine, in a lot of ways, and not tapping into, that masculine. They're give me one sec.
Yeah, you have a good.
Sorry about that.
No, you good, brother. You good.
They're not tapping into that, so it's like they become overly emotional, to the point where they don't know how to be in control of their emotions and regulate those emotions that we do have, because all of us have them. We can pretend like we don't and pretend like we're tough, but all of us do. And that guy in the bar that gets his shoe stepped on and ends up in a fight or shooting somebody, he's overly emotional. Yeah, he's not hiding it well. So it's one of those things that if you don't have that, you become overly emotional. You start tapping into the things that we should not be tapping into.
Facts. Piggybacking off of what he just said, brother Edmund. I'm gonna come to you, man. What do you think about? And I'm not sure. As much as we've talked, I'm not sure if you grew up in a household with mother, father, grandfather. I'm not sure what the dynamic is, but what's your take on the fact that a lot of fathers aren't in a household? What kind of outcome do you think we're seeing strictly because of that?
Sure. So my history is my parents split up when I was about, I would say, 11 or 12. So I was old enough to know what was going on and understand the lack of communication that was kind of going on there. I grew up mostly with my mom, but my dad was always around. I by no means did I have a part-time dad, but I would go see him like every other Wednesdays, weekends, all that kind of good stuff. But my dad was a little bit different because he put himself on child support just so that nobody could ever say he didn't take care of his son. You know what I mean? And that, in hindsight, it's like, he could have saved some taxes there. But the fact that he was like, he wanted to make sure that there was no question that he was there for his child. My dad was still the example for a lot of my friends because their dad either wasn't living up to their expectations or they weren't around, past or in the game or whatever that it was. So even though my situation wasn't ideal, it was still better than most. So a lot of that I got from my father was, acts of service for your community, being some type of leader, making sure that you keep to your word. It's not having some type of male presence, even if he's flawed, it's better than nothing. You know what I mean? So it's difficult for men to like regulate their emotions because, like you said, if you're growing up in a house where it's mostly women and there's some type of relationship issue where the man left or he's just not around or cheated or did whatever, you're not even going to get the good parts of that man because the woman is more kind of concerned with making sure that you feel the way that she feels about him. You know what I mean? It's a lot of like, what do you call it? Projection. It's a lot of projection on that. And it's not their fault. They're hurt. But you're also hurting the relationship between you and your child, the child and the father, and you're not making it easier for the mother and the father to cooperate either. So being able to see all these different avenues and perspectives of how this can go, I was extremely grateful for my dad, but I understood that the older I got, that he was flawed as well. It wasn't always negative. But when I would interact with my friends who didn't have a good father figure, they would always look at him and be like, "Man, I can if I had half the dad, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, that you had, then." And they looked up to him. But
Yeah.
it's like you're saying, if you do not have any type of guidance to begin with, and you don't even have that kind of example between your friends, like Travis said, you're overly emotional because you feel like you have something to prove.
Yep.
If you feel like you have something to prove, you're more liable to act out. Nobody knows your situation when they first run into you or bump into you or step on your shoe or anything. But you are so attached to that anger because it's all you knew for so long. You feel like that's the rational response.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we don't have, if we had more of that logic piece, because we know that women are able to move in their emotions a bit more, men are more logical, and that's just kind of the way that it is as far as how we need to operate in this world.
Yeah.
If you don't have that logic portion ingrained in you on some level, then it makes it very hard to work through those emotions before you start to do something wrong and act out, and you're not giving yourself a chance to think a couple of moves ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember it was maybe about a year ago, but my time be out, man. It could have been 2 years ago. But at some point in time, and I don't know what the conversation was during the Power Circle meeting. We may have been talking about fatherhood this particular Sunday. And toward the end of the call, a conversation sparked up about what it's like with a father in the house and with a father outside of the house. And I don't think that people, I'm gonna say it like this. I don't think that men that grew up with the father in the house have any idea of what it's like for men that didn't have a father, right? Because I remember that conversation, guys were just like, what? Like, that's how you think, or that's how you think? And people, you think it's a lot the similar mindset, but it's not. I'll say one of my best friend, Lane. I was actually talking to him today, man. And Lane's a couple of years younger than me. When him and I started back hanging out, as adults and had conversations about our sons, he would say the smallest thing, and I would just be like, bro, like I would never think about having that type of conversation with my son or doing that or saying, like, it was just something brand new to me, but it was common sense to him, right? So I said that to say this, man. I don't think there's nothing that is. Well, let me say like this. I believe that a father in a young man's life is extremely valuable. Extremely valuable. But what I will say is I did find an advantage that a young man that doesn't have his father does have, right? And that was, again, about a year or so ago in the Power Circle. We were reading David Dita's work, The Way of the Superior Man. And there's a chapter in there, very short chapter, maybe the shortest, that says, live as if your father was dead, right? And when I read that chapter, man, I understood like a stronghold that I didn't have on me from a very young age, 13, 14, 15, 25, 27, 35, on me from my father that a lot of men do have. So even though a father can be very beneficial as a young man, teaching you the ways of life, at the same time, it can almost be a prison, not allowing you to escape to be who you want to be. Because I of course, my father was a minister, man. So I grew up with a lot of young men, that their fathers were ministers, and they're still trapped in that same mindset, not being able to escape. And I'm using minister as an example, but any way of life, any walk of life. So I believe that even if a man has a father at some point in life, and hope is before his father's death, he's able to escape that, and I'll call it prison for the lack of a better word. He's able to escape that prison that even having a father can have, right? So I said that to say, how does a man come out of that, brother Edmund? You had a quote, man, that I heard you say on one of your the shorts. You said you have lived with your mistakes longer than it took for you to fix them.
I love that one.
Right?
Yeah, man.
So when a man is in, and I hate this word, if a man is living his life in toxic masculinity, I hate that word, and he realizes, hey, you know what? I need to find balance. I need to find this. What ways can he recalibrate his masculinity?
For sure. Man, I definitely love that quote, and what you're saying is dead on, because I wouldn't call it a prison. As somebody who had a father in his life and was also strong in the community. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't a minister or anything, but he had his own nonprofit. He helped try to help a couple kids get to school through like a tennis scholarship. As somebody who grew up with the most positive role model for a man that I could ask for, it is still very burdensome because you are trying to live up to that expectation. You are trying to, even if you don't match his every move, you're trying to make sure that you're not the failure of the bloodline. You know what I mean? Especially as a man. If you feel like you're having some type of toxic masculinity, and we don't really like that term because everybody can be toxic, but the best way, honestly, is to do the thing that nobody really knows how to do unless you are just hyper aware. You need to be aware of the way that you're moving, the fact that you're so emotional. If somebody can, it's your mama or stepping on your shoes or bumping into you or looking at you funny. It's like, if you have to react to every single thing, what is it about that triggers you so much? Why is it that you need to sleep with every woman that you run into? Some people think it's you need to prove that you can as a hunter, let's say, or because like you had said in many times, our OGs was like, what woman you with? Who you talking to now? Da, da, da. And I don't know if they're just trying to make sure that you're not, gay or something, or because they're going to be upset with you at that point. But they feel like they need to impress upon you what you should be doing because that's what happened to them.
Yeah.
So you need to get out of the cycle of, I got to do this for my boys or for my brothers or for whatever. It's for you yourself, because at the end of the day, like we know, if you're running out in the streets and getting into trouble, ain't nobody got bail money. Ain't nobody going to be able to help you get out of that, more likely. And they'll move, not only will they move on, but they'll try to move on something that was yours while you was free. Thanks. You know what I mean? So you get caught up in all of this. I got to do it to show out and show up. What are you going to do for yourself?
Facts.
Facts. I think about what you do for yourself.
Facts, man. I think that part. I think that that part that you hit on, as far as like the OGs before us pushing a whole different culture of women on us, man. I don't think they understand how much, I'll say, damage that was, man. And I think that the young men coming up behind us, I think we're smart enough to now not to push that agenda on them. Brother Travis, I want to get your thoughts on what Brother Ryan says. Shout out to Brother Royal Minds, member of the Power Circle. Brother Ryan says, what if a man in the house, what if there's a man in the house, but he's not masculine? I believe that's a common issue. What are your thoughts on that, Travis?
So, man,
because there are a lot of women that are quarterbacking households. How do you think that's affecting young men coming out? Do you think well, let me say this first, man, because I've been seeing trends on like TikTok and all these other things where a lot of women are desiring men that move in a softer nature.
The soft men.
Yeah. Like a lot of women are desiring this. So if you have a guy that's moving in a certain manner, he's not even attractive to a lot of beautiful women just because he's in that masculinity. So I guess that would be one of the outcomes of what Brother Royal Minds is saying. If you have a father in the house and he's moving in a subordinate energy, then that son is just going to follow suit.
I see him in space. He can feel me. He can feel me going right now.
What are your thoughts?
He starts to itch whenever he.
It's like he saw me and he's like, oh, here we go. Honestly, man, it's like, okay. The first one I definitely want to touch on the part about the women wanting soft men. I think that's bull, to be honest with you. I think the only reason a woman would want a soft guy is because she doesn't want to be held accountable. I think the only reason a woman would want a soft man is because she wouldn't want to be held to account. Because a guy in his masculine is not just going to accept whatever from a woman. He's not going to accept you talking to him any kind of way and talking to him crazy. He's not going to accept, you just going out and doing whatever and not and causing chaos around him. It's just not going to happen. Masculine guys, we naturally kind of bring a calm. It's like when things start, fluctuating, it's like, nah, we're not doing this. We're not going out of control. We're not going to be sitting here arguing and screaming and doing these things. We're not going to do it. And I think a lot of the women that say they want a soft guy are guys that they can control. That's the only. I think that's the reason. I think it's because they can control them and that they don't hold them accountable. But at the long term, I don't think that actually goes well in those relationships. To be honest with you, I haven't seen them really go a solid direction. I think eventually a woman's going to get tired of a guy like that, because if you got to make all the decisions and you got to be the man and everything, it's going to burn you the hell out. You could do that by yourself.
True. I agree. I agree with all that you were saying. And I see where Ro, shout out to Ro out in Cali. Ro agreed with you as well. But I'll tell you, I think what you're saying is right. Except the tail end part, I would love to agree with you when you say it ain't gonna work. Because in my mind, it don't work either, bro. But I'll tell you what else I'm seeing. And I don't know if it has a name on social media, but I see a lot of women actually marrying men that are all the way on the other side. You know, men that you know are attracted to other men. And I was talking to a sister recently, man, and she was talking about how a lot of women make that transition to messing with other women, and she said a lot of it is out of frustration of men. So I think it stages to that transition. I think that some women go all the way over and say, you know what, I just want to entertain women if that's their choice. Some women get soft men. Some women go extreme and say, you know, I can't even find any soft men. Let me get a man that we just pretty much make good companions. And to be honest,
a roommate though.
Yeah,
that ends up being a roommate situation.
I don't know the dynamics of it. I don't know if they're intimate or if they're just like, let's just write our taxes out together. I don't know what it's like, because if he actually likes men, then y'all are just roommates, you know. And but I know that's a big thing. That's a big thing. And I don't know if it has a name or whatever, man. But
it got a name, but it's not PG.
Okay, yeah, don't say it, man.
But
delete another channel off YouTube.
There's
called reality TV.
That's what it's called. I didn't. So what?
Yeah,
it's called reality TV.
Oh, for sure. Okay. So I can't speak to that, but what I'm hearing is that if you're tired of not being able to get the type of man that you want, I feel like a lot of people can't get the type of person that they really want, so they end up settling, but they're not also trying to raise themselves to the level of the person that they do want.
True.
You know, there's a there's a movie with Jack Nicholson and some other folks that I just heard about recently, like Witches of Something, and it's like these three women, they're trying to like create the perfect man, and it comes in the form of Jack Nicholson. He does everything that they want him to do, and they still don't treat him the way that he wants to be treated, right? So and they're basically like, they're all three of them are dating this one man together, so they totally understand. They all live in the same house or whatever. But he makes a good point where he said he goes on a rant and he's like, I gave you everything that you wanted. I made your life more interesting than it was. And the minute I needed something, everybody treated me like trash. What gives you the right? What gives you the right to be able to ask for all this stuff and you're not offering anything in return? What value do you bring to the fact, like, I gave you everything?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of men are going through that same thing where for the more, let's call them softer men, where they're like, my purpose, because what I realized is, as a man, your purpose is not to make a woman happy. Facts. You're supposed to provide, you're supposed to protect, you do all these things. Happiness is an individualized concept.
Very true.
So for you to look on the outside for somebody else, whether he's perfect or not, he may be perfect for you on certain things. You are obviously not perfect for him. So what incentive do we have to keep trying to make you happy when it doesn't work?
Facts. I like what Brother Ant said. Again, shout out to another powerful brother of the power circle, Brother Ant Boogie. Ant said, I believe that masculinity has been lost when happy wife, happy life is the mantra causing men shut down their essence. I believe I'll say this, man. My take on that is, I believe the same era of men that were pumping "Where's your girlfriend" in the third grade down everybody's throat are the same men that carried that mantra, happy wife, happy life. I just think that generation of men moved a lot different. And to be honest, the world was a lot different. You know, those men were coming out, you know, a lot of those men were coming out of a era where a lot of women weren't in professional spots in the workforce. So it was just a different, especially if you go back to our grandmothers. Our grandmothers wasn't working. They were in the fields pulling vegetables and cooking and cleaning and raising children, man. The majority of them. So that type mindset comes from a different era. So and it may have been a healthy mantra back then. Who knows? But now it causes chaos. It causes imbalance because I believe men and women are doing something else. So to say happy wife, happy life, now it's you're moving completely wrong. And I believe a lot of men even take that. I'll say it like this. I believe a lot of men and women take that saying, and a lot of women want to be on a pedestal, and it's made a lot of men simps thinking they're supposed to give their whole life and life force to making a woman happy. But you got to understand that's automatic destruction, if you ask me, man. Happy wife, happy life is automatic destruction. So I'm glad that Ant brought that up. Which I really don't want to go down a road that makes me want to go down. What were you saying, Travis? You getting ready to speak on something, brother?
Oh, I was gonna say, to answer the original question, man, with the the soft guys in the house. I think with that, it's gonna be. I'll put it this way. I don't think a soft guy, and I hate to use the word soft because so many types of guys, and people think if you have any emotion you're soft. That's not true. But a guy who, let's say, is soft in the way he moves as a man, I don't think he can raise a guy who's going to survive out here. To be honest with you, the world is not a soft place. At the end of the day,
true.
And we have it a lot easier now than we've ever had it before. But at the end of the day, the minute you step out that door, the world is not going to be kind to you, and it does not owe you understanding. And a soft guy is only going to make, here's a good one. You ever heard that quote about the guy said he said my father, my grandfather was walking, had to walk 10 miles. Is like my father, my grandfather had to walk 10 miles. My father drove a truck, a beat up truck. Is like I drove a Cadillac. My son drives a Ferrari. My grandson will be walking again.
Facts.
It was like
I believe that.
What was it? Strong men make good times. Good times make soft men. Soft men make hard times.
Yeah.
And I believe that wholeheartedly, man. So I think it requires balance in a man's life to show those behind him, below him, man, on how to move as men. And I remember the first time I heard that, bro, it was like I never thought about the power of that, and I thought about my own life. Matter of fact, when I heard that, it made me think about the way I was raising my son. And I had to back out of love stuff because there was a point in time where I was giving my son, hey, you want this? And I backed out, man, and said, hey, you know what? No, you want those school clothes? Go get it. And now my son is just, for me doing that, my son is a monster. And he's bro. It's almost scary how independent he is now, man. So what you're saying is dead on, man. I want to roll into something else, man. I want to roll into how masculinity, once a man taps into that, how it taps into him moving forward, man, along the lines of purpose and everything else. Brother Travis, you said something, man. You said there are some men that die in their 20s, but aren't buried until their 60s. Speak on that. What do you mean from that, brother?
Man, I heard it. I heard that a long time ago. I forgot. I wish I could give credit to whose quote it was. But it's one of those things that a lot of times I don't think we're living to our full potential. We have. I've met a lot of guys that are living lives that they're not satisfied with. That they want to be more, they want to do more, but they are scared to attempt. Like there's this fear of it, either because of the way they grew up or whatever, or what it may look like to the mom, to dad, to whoever it may be. They're afraid to go after the life they really want and the things they really want. So they end up living a life that satisfies other people, but they won't be satisfied with when they die.
I want to go deeper into that, man. I want to go deeper into that. We're gonna take a quick 40-second break, man, and we're gonna go deeper into that, into what that thing is that keeps man from crossing that threshold and moving forward, man, and tapping into that purpose. Be right back.
Thing number 7 that men do to ruin their lives is that they don't keep a brotherhood of like-minded men around them. They don't have a band of brothers. They are not part of a tribe. The thing that men do that really ruins their life is that they live like an island. You act like a lone wolf. You are not meant to be a lone wolf. You are not meant to be an island. You are meant to find like-minded dudes who share your core values. Because if you're like, dude, these are my core values, these are my non-negotiables, this is how I roll in life. I'm an extreme, unreasonable, impatient motherfucker that wants to make a lot of money, be fit and jacked, be self-actualized and self-disciplined, and do a lot of good for humanity. And I find other dudes like that to connect with. That's my tribe. That's my band of brothers. That is the brotherhood that I belong to.
All right, any brothers that aren't in the power circle, man, Power Circle is definitely something you should check out. You can look at the links in any of my videos and see links to join the Power Circle. One thing I'll say about the Power Circle is this, and this is one thing that I didn't understand until the Power Circle that started. I grew up until all the way up into my 40s. I was not a guy that had a lot of male friends. Matter of fact, I'll say about 4, maybe 5 years ago, I made a YouTube that said all my best friends are women. And that was true. My best friend is the guy I grew up with since day one. Me and him we still cool. But the rest of my friends at one point in time were females. I might go have drinks with them, whatever. And I didn't understand how important having male friendship, having a circle of friends was. And the reason I say that is because every man thinks he's flying high. If you're rolling solo, you're going through life, you're working, you're going through whatever, you're getting healthy. Every man thinks he's just sky high until you put yourself in a room full of other men. Then you can really see where you are. And you can not only see where you are, but you can help uplift brothers. You know, a lot of us as men, you know, we keep a lot of stuff in. But once you can get inside of a room with some brothers you can trust and learn from their mistakes, they can learn from your mistakes, learn from their wins, they can learn from your wins. I'm telling you, brother, it's a powerful place to be. So anybody anybody that has heard me talk about the Power Circle, these two brothers that you have on the screen here, man, they are not only a product of the Power Circle, but beacons in the Power Circle. And now these brothers are moving in that light energy that we speak of every single Sunday. So I want to spin into talking about purpose, man. Because I believe if there's a lack of anything going on in I'll say the manosphere, you know, just the male species, is men moving without a lack of purpose. And I can almost see a man that doesn't move in it. I can see the urgency in him. I can see the thing he wants to talk about. And it's like, bro, it's like when you tied into something, you don't really have a lot of time. You can carve out time to talk about, the Lakers and the Cowboys and all that stuff. But some people's lives are consumed with something outside of their purpose, man. What do y'all think is one of the major things that's keeping a man from plugging into that and moving in that energy, brothers?
I can actually, if I can start.
Okay.
One thing I did want to bring up that you talk about that a lot, as far as like you don't know how high you are until you get a chance to be around other eagles. You know what I mean? Dog, I tell you straight up, man, I was a snake. There was a time where the people that I was running with were one of my favorite quotes is a snake follows the ways of serpents. So if you're running around with a bunch of other snakes, and you don't have a chance, like what do they say now? You could, if you no squares in my circle or no snakes in the grass, cut the grass low, all that kind of stuff. You can't tell the green from a snake from the green from the grass half the time. So you need to be able to separate yourself from your current reality and get into a space where you can elevate. But until you do that, and answering your question, it's either the women, drugs, partying, it's blowing money, just being around the wrong people, having the wrong conversations. There's just too much that's going on as a distraction, to the point where it's going to take some major betrayal from the people that you are with before you decide to do something else. I'm speaking from experience. You know what I mean? It's when you think you're around people that love you. You think you're around people that want the best for you, and they actually understand that you are capable of more, but they won't let you move in it because they don't see that in themselves. They will do everything they can to get you to not do the thing that you are meant to do. I'll never forget this. I think about this more often than I should. There was a conversation that I had with a friend of mine it had to be sophomore year of high school. We were thick as thieves. We were running around doing bullshit together, all that kind of stuff. And one day we weren't on bad terms or nothing, but one day he said, we were talking about jobs or something. And he said something. He said, I don't know what I want to do with my life. What do you want to do? And then before I could even answer, he stopped me and said, well, whatever you're going to do, you're going to do great. But then we would butt heads on the stupidest stuff, or we would, sometimes it's a little bit of that holding back, like, oh, you shouldn't do that. You should come kick it with us. Or if you try to make new friendships, for some reason, they're getting mad about that because you're evolving past what they think you are capable of. If you don't check your circle, if you don't check yourself, then you're never going to be able to separate. You're never going to sit in the silence enough to figure out what your real purpose is.
Thanks.
So when you get bit by another snake, you're like, damn, what you do that for? But snakes follow the ways of serpents.
I think that's huge, man. I also think, I think that's huge. I also think when you plug into that purpose, it'll expose everybody around you. Because if you're just moving like everybody else, man, like you said, you can't tell what you are. But when you start moving in a certain energy, man, people that are right next to you, people that have been beside you the whole time, man, it's people change, bro. People change, man. And I'll say this when it comes to purpose, and the reason I think purpose is so important, and why I just, I wish every man would plug into it. And when I say purpose, it's not about making a certain amount of money. It's not about being able to do a certain thing. It's about living a fulfilled life, bro. Because if you aren't living a fulfilled life, it rolls over into everything. Like you're low key. You can look happy, but if you aren't tied into purpose, bro, you're miserable. You can have the perfect spouse. You can have the perfect job or whatever. Everything looks like it's aligned. If you aren't tied into doing what you're supposed to be doing, and I guess everybody defines purpose different. But if you aren't tied to that, bro, everything is going to be a distraction. Everything is going to be a hindrance. Even the perfect woman in your life is going to be a roadblock to you getting to that next level, man. So that's why I believe purpose is critical. But what do y'all think? And I'm not sure who I asked this first. What do y'all think? Like not even really what's holding a man back from tapping into it. What does a man need to do to discover his purpose? How does a man even find that?
So
what say you, Brother Trav?
I think to figure out what your purpose is, man, I go back to, something that we do in the circle quite a bit is the who are you, where are you going? Mm-hmm. I think before you can even figure out what your purpose is, you got to figure out who you are.
Yeah.
Because a lot of guys, I think, are lost in the wilderness, to be real with you. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of guys are lost. And, it's almost like if I drop you in the woods right now, blindfold you, fly you in a plane, drop you in the woods out of nowhere, take the blindfold off, and you're by yourself, and I write you a note and tell you to go to California, you have no idea where you are.
Facts.
You got to figure out where you are first.
Mm-hmm.
Are you facing east? Are you facing north? Which direction are you even facing? You got to figure out where you are first before you can figure out where you're going. And a lot of guys don't know. We don't know where we are, and I can definitely attest to that. For a long time, I did not know who I was, and there were so many times where I thought I was on purpose. I thought I was moving, in that way, doing the entrepreneur thing, business, doing, but never figuring it out. And I'm always like, man, why is this not working? And until I really stopped and was like, who are you? Mm-hmm. Who are you? That'll tell you why you even want the things you want. Facts. or what's not for you. Because and that's why I think, with what Edmund was saying, why a lot of guys fall into you know, hanging out with the wrong people, getting out here doing the wrong stuff, find themselves in situations, is because when you don't know who you are, anybody can influence you.
Yeah.
When you don't, I think it was Les Brown that said, um, stand for something, or be not. Anyway, I forgot how that even went.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going somewhere. I was going somewhere else. But you have to know what you're standing up for. You have to know who you are, because like I said, otherwise everybody's going to be able to just take you off course.
Yeah.
Take you any direction. Well, let's go do this. Okay, that sounds cool. Let's go this direction. Okay, no, you're doing that. Okay, I'm gonna go here. But when you know who you are, you're like, nah, that's not taking me where I want to go.
Yeah.
You want to go east. I'm trying to go north. We're not even heading in the same direction. As I wish you the best.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Yeah. Which means, and I'm glad you said it, man. And you also mentioned something about the people you hang around with. And I was trying to find that comment in the section. Somebody mentioned that same thing, which means to me, man, like the deeper I connect with purpose, the deeper that I only want to move. Now let me say it like that, because I can be cool with a lot of people, but as far as like people that I bond with, people that can come over and call me in, like they got to be moving just like me. And it's not that I hate anybody outside of that, but if you aren't moving like me, it's like, man, we cool, but it's not gonna be a lot of time exchange because it's that sensitive. I was even telling a sister, this might have been yesterday or the day before yesterday. We were talking about like people that move a certain way, that do certain things, that cheat on their spouses. I say, if I have a friend, a brother of mine, and he's cheating on his spouse, we can't vibrate. And we named a list of things. I can't even vibrate with a brother that moves like that. Like if it's a brother out here robbing banks, if it's a brother out here selling cocaine, we cool. I still love him, but I can't mesh energies with him because mine has to be so focused. Like all of us, when we get on the phone, man, or we get in a circle, we're talking about a certain thing. We're not talking about all this extra stuff. We're talking about moving as upright men or nothing at all, man. So I think that's crucial that you said that, bro.
Because you become
about moving in that manner. I want to say something that's kind of off topic, and it's something that I want to ask both of y'all, and it's just a beautiful thing. Well, let me say it like this first. Like there was a young brother I was talking to. It might have been a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Very, very short brother. Brother's probably closer to 30. He's moving in his purpose. He's married. He has a wife. She's on board. She assists him with what he's doing. And his comment to me was he loves his spouse. He loves what he has going on with her. But at the same time, he thinks that he can move faster without her. And I asked him I'm like, well, what is she doing wrong? He's like, bro, she's doing everything right. It's just that I can't. So this is what I would ask y'all brothers, because y'all brothers are moving in harmony. Y'all are both entrepreneurs. Y'all are both successful men. Travis, you're the bachelor. You're the one that all the ladies are chasing in the club and trying to hunt down. And Edmund, brother, you have a beautiful wife, beautiful family. Congrats on the young man. So y'all brothers are living really two different lives, but y'all are in harmony, moving down the path the same. So I want to ask y'all, what are and I'll use the word pros and cons of each, of being a single man and an entrepreneur on his path, pros and cons. And I'll start with you, Travis, and the benefits of having a family to support you down that path. What say you, Trav?
Oh man, the pros and the cons. The pros are I only have to worry about myself. The cons are I only have to worry about myself.
I feel that.
It's a weird thing when you think about it, because I'll just be honest, it's like I can take a lot of risk. I can take a lot of way more risk right now in my life than I could if I was married, or even had kids. I realize that I can take way more risk with it, because there's a lot more room for error. I can completely blow my life up and start over again. and it not be a problem. I can go sleep in my car and eat, ramen noodles. It's, it's like, hey, hey, that's just what it is right now. It's like, but at the same time, and it's something that I've been dealing with, a lot the last couple of years is, but what am I doing this for?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I can do all this, and success and business and all these different things. Like, it's like, yeah, that's cool, but and it's something that that's come up a lot, and Em and I have been talking about it quite a bit. Is like, but if I was to die today, I would not be remembered. There would be no. Well, I might be remembered because we got YouTube videos now and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so people would see it,
yeah.
But there would be nothing left behind of me.
That legacy.
There would be nothing to carry on my work.
That's heavy, bro.
And that I influenced is like that's where I'm lacking. Yeah, I can fully say that's where I'm lacking. I feel like if I was probably married right now with kids, I would probably be pushing harder, to be honest with you. It's like I would probably be ravenous. Edmund would probably be sick of my ass. To be real about it. He'd be like, stop calling me. It's 3:00 in the morning, but we gotta get this done. He's already sick. He already gets sick of me now. But but I would probably be going 10 times harder in the paint, to be honest with you, because
so you would have that inspiration,
because I know what I would have behind me what I have to take care of. Right now, I only have to take care of me, and it's one of those. And sometimes I don't even need to do that. Sometimes just like you sleep whenever you want to. If you don't eat, it is what it is. You're working. However you move is how you move. You just make it work. You force it. But when you have people behind you, you have way more structure in your life. You gotta be on point with the things you do, the things you say, how you act. It's less like if you start moving reckless, it doesn't just affect you; it affects somebody else too.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, while there's some benefits to this, to be honest, I'm reaching the point where like I can see now what the purpose of a wife, the purpose of having a wife, the purpose of having kids. I can see not just this is what I want because everybody else says this is what you should do. You should, go to school, go to college, get married, have 2.5 kids and and then retire when you're 65. Is like that's great and everything, but why?
Yeah, thanks. So I want to roll that same question over to Brother Edmund, and I want to rephrase it a little different. Having heard what Travis said, can you speak to, y'all both being successful entrepreneurs, upright men, Brother Edmund, can you speak to the benefits of having a beautiful wife that pours into you, of having, that beautiful child that you can leave a legacy to, man? What are the benefits in that? How does that make a man move that's on the path?
So one thing I'm still trying to figure out where 2.5 kids comes from. Where that's American math for some reason. Man, man, it's I'll tell you what. I'll put it this way. So I didn't get a chance to tell the circle this, but I'll tell them now. We closed on our condo a couple of weeks ago.
Nice.
So my son is about to be 6 months in another week. Didn't know 6 months ago I would be trying to buy a home, but Travis is right. There's a substantial benefit, but I would say there is one con.
Speak on.
Is that you have a tremendous pressure on you when you have people who depend on you. When you're that foundation of the family, being the man in the family, man, it's good when you have a wife that wants to know about what your goals, and it's that she does pour into me, and she knows about things that maybe I wouldn't consider. She asks me questions, make sure that I'm good. I've been running myself ragged, just trying to get everything moved in and all this stuff. But I tell you what, this past weekend we just moved everything in just about, and I finally got my son's room together. And after I put the crib in and the changing table and the rocking chair and all the toys and all that good stuff, I got really emotional.
Yeah.
Because I did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I did the thing. All I wanted to do was give this little boy space and freedom and time. And after once I saw how big the room was, I got a little teary-eyed, man, because I was like, oh, this is what I'm doing it for. This is why, so that he can do his thing and have the space to grow. And like The room he was in previously was my office and the nursery and the guest room if we had guests and all that stuff. But when you were able to give your family even just the bare minimums, a place to sleep at night, food in there, and he ain't got to worry about you whether you're gonna come in the room or not when he wakes up, or if he's crying, or he knows you're gonna be there. There's a tremendous pressure that comes because I look at that little boy, man. He carries my name, and I think, how could you not want to take care of a kid? How could you abuse children or do whatever, or just abandon them or whatever? And it's like, I'm not judging anybody, but I don't have that in me. So being able to Travis did me a tremendous favor, because before he was even born, he gave me another purpose in making sure that other men had something that they could do. They could figure out what their purpose was, so that when they have kids, they know what they're doing it for. And some people don't realize that until they have a kid. It's like, oh shit, now it's not just me. I gotta take care of somebody else. I had been so focused on taking care of me for so long, and then I got with my wife, and then I'm thinking about taking care of her, and then we have this child, and then I'm thinking about taking care of them. It hit me all at once, where I was just like, I don't care how much money I have, it's not enough. I don't care, what my ambition is, it's not enough, because I need to make sure there is nothing that he will lack for. There is nothing that I can't do for him. Nobody will ever take anything away from him. And Travis knows, we have our meetings every Friday morning, 8:00 on the dot. But sometimes we don't get off until 11. He is sitting right there with me. He is on my lap.
Say that.
He is the third member of Warriors Way Home, because he's with me during every meeting. Even if he's asleep, the reason why I do this, the reason why we're talking about this now, is because of him. So there's very there's a pressure, but it's a good pressure, because now I can't fail.
I'm glad you spoke on that, man. First, I want to say, bro, again, congrats on the condo, congrats on the little man, congrats on everything, man. Congrats on both of y'all for everything y'all have been doing. I want to talk about this, man. Based on both Travis saying, hey, I can move a certain way, I can take certain risks. There's a lot of stress that comes with that. Even going to what you were saying, Brother Edmund, moving, I got a family, now I got to think about, there's stress that comes with that, man. One thing I don't think we address enough, that us as men just don't talk about it, is our mental issues based on our lives. Whether you're single or married, whatever you have going on, I don't think a lot of people, it ain't but two genders. Right. I don't think a lot of people understand, or I'll say younger people and women. I don't think a lot of younger people or women understand that it's stressful being a man. A lot of stuff, a lot of part of being a man is putting everything on our shoulders. That's what being a man is. I like putting that weight on my shoulders, having to make certain things happen. But a lot of mental issues come with that we kind of keep within until we just crack. I can remember when I was growing up, young man, teenager, younger, a lot of men in my community or city deleted themselves. And I always thought, that's dang, what took you there? That was my thing, man, until I got older and found myself in a situation, man, where life just happened. And I'll say this, I got to the point where I fully understand what a man is going through when he gets to that point, man. So having said that, and I guess I'll start with you, Brother Trav, or really whoever wants to answer this, man. What do y'all think that some of the silent struggles that we go through as men, what do y'all think it is that really takes us to those spots? Is it traumas? Is it not being able to provide? What do y'all think is the primary thing associated with that, man?
So I think a big one, I know it's been, for me, it's been a super big challenge. The majority of my life, I'm gonna be real about it, is not knowing how to deal with emotions, not knowing how to, just, I think, like you said, a big piece is just, a lot of times we just stuff it down. I have a dad, and I had a stepdad, and growing up in the house with stepdad, I wasn't allowed to show emotions. It wasn't one of those things that was really like you didn't feel free to, you know, just be, you know, whatever came up. You know, it's like you start freaking out, you get mad or you get sad, you start crying as a kid, all these different things like that. That wasn't. I also grew up in a military family, so it was different. It's like, but there wasn't a lot of like showing how to deal with that. Like, okay, you're mad. Why are you mad? Okay, you're upset. You know, you feel like you want to cry. Why? Why are you feeling upset? What's going on with you? It was one of those things like, hey, just stuff it down, get over it, pick yourself up. You know, what are you crying for? I'll give you something to cry about type deal. Is like, you know, all that kind of more of that kind of dynamic going on. And it's like, so for me, it's been a challenge just like showing emotion. You know, I'm gonna be matter of fact, I think of the time and it's a little embarrassing to say. I was in a like a meditation group, and we were sitting there talking. We would, you know, sit down and meditate on you know, on what we wanted and everything like that. We would meet first and meditate and then talk about it. So I was meditating, and I realized that no woman I ever dated knew me. And and it really, I mean, it hit home so hard. I was like, no women I've been in a relationship up to this point knew who I really was. I knew everything about them, you know, emotional stuff, you know, childhood trauma as adult, all the things, but none of them knew me because I kept that door shut. I mean, iron gate, you know, pit bulls, and a moat, you know, just for good measure.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on why you did that? And looking back at it, do you see that as a pro? Because it really depends on who you ask. Like a lot of men will say, hey, you know what? There's a part of a man that you can't really disclose to women, like your problems and your and all these other things. You can't really show a woman or talk to a woman on this level, where a lot of people are saying that if you're going to be vulnerable in a relationship, you have to show portions of this. Do you see what you're saying now as a pro or a con?
Well, I think there's a big difference between being able to regulate your emotions and pretending like you don't have them. I pretended like I didn't have them.
Facts.
You know, I just everything was fine. It's like, you good? Yeah. I'll be, if it wasn't anger, I didn't show it. I was either cool. I was either cool or angry.
Why was that?
Trauma. To be real about it. I mean, to the point where in this meeting, and like I said, this is the embarrassing part. When I said that, I mean, it wasn't one of those things I just said. It's one of those things you feel, and I mean, I felt it like some old shit opened up, and I cried in front of these people, and it was a room, you know, it's like maybe 4 or 5 of us, but there was like 3 ladies in the room with me, and I was so angry that I cried in front of these people, so angry. I mean, I damn near got up and left. I was so mad at myself that I even showed that emotion to people. And these were people that I knew. They weren't strangers. These people I had known for years. It's about, I was so angry about me showing that emotion. And I really had to deal with that. I was like, okay, what's going on? And it's because for so long it wasn't safe to show that. I haven't seen it. I haven't really seen a lot of guys show that emotion in a healthy way. You know, it's either, you know, you don't have an emotion at all. You're just a robot walking around like Arnold Schwarzenegger and, you know, in Terminator, or you got guys just being reckless because they're just overly emotional. It's like I've seen those two, but I really haven't seen a guy like be able to show certain emotions and actually still look like a man.
So going back to that moment, going back to that moment, if you could really, or just going back to that moment, do you think opening up like that help you move forward as a man, or do you regret even showing that and you wish you would have just stayed behind that wall?
I think it helped me move forward because it revealed where I was lacking. It revealed that something was wrong. And I knew it. That's the thing. It's like, I knew that about myself, that I don't like showing emotion. I don't cry. I don't. It's like, it's just one of those things I don't, and I damn sure don't cry in front of people, for sure. It's like, there's a very small handful of people that have ever seen me shed tears for anything. Death, illness, whatever, just overload, very few.
Facts.
But that revealed to me that how much of an issue it actually was. Because up to that point, I was like, oh, it's not that big a deal. You just keep it moving. Like you said, you put it on your back and you don't think about it. It's almost like you're carrying a bag on you. You're carrying a ruck.
Yeah.
And you're taking your trauma and you're just popping it here, just taking it. Boom. Okay, that girl broke up with me and broke my heart. Okay, let's add that to it. Boom.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, man, I lost that job and now I'm struggling and there's nobody I can turn to. Okay, let's just take that, boom, stuff that down in the pack, put it back on. And man, after years and years of that shit, man, you think you get stronger because of these things.
Yeah.
But how much stronger would you be if you weren't carrying that?
Yeah.
How much faster would you go through life? How much more would you enjoy yourself if you weren't carrying around this load of all the bullshit that we go through in our lives that we haven't dealt with, that we just been stuffing down in ourselves and just putting it on our backs and just keep it moving because I'm a man and I got to carry on no matter what. So I'm just going to keep carrying on. Instead of dealing with this stuff, I'm going to drag it with me.
At some point you'll crack.
Yeah. And
at some point. Yeah, I've been there too. At some point you will crack. And it could be the smallest thing to make you crack. The smallest thing, man. So hey, brother.
A lot of guys crack it, man. You end up with a gun in your mouth. And I've been there.
Facts. And it happens quick.
Yeah.
Happens quick, man. Appreciate sharing that, brother. That was valuable. And I believe that's something that we all can think about within ourselves on how we move and how we process things and what we're putting in our backpacks, man. First, I'm gonna give a shout out. I'm coming to you, brother Ed. I want to ask you a similar question. Let me give a shout out to brother GoFlow. Thanks for that super chat. Brother GoFlow says, "Thank you, fellas. Inspiring. Love the convo. This live just gave me enough to get through the rest of the week." I'm gonna tell you, if you like this kind of conversation, for all y'all brothers out there, definitely the power circle, man. Like this is what we talk about on a weekly basis, whether it's esoteric, whether it's how to be better relationships, whether it's how to identify certain things in women, which is all men coming to one spot, trying to be better men. So appreciate that super chat, GoFlow. Brother Edmund, I want to ask you a question before we roll into the third and final segment of this conversation, man. Kind of piggybacking off of what Brother Travis said, of course, the stresses come with both being a single man and a married man. But as y'all discussed a few minutes ago, those stresses and they're a little bit different. So how do you, as a married man, newborn son, new crib, everything move, y'all got the new business going. Now you got everything on your shoulders, right? More responsibilities. How do you, as a married man, keep yourself away from, like Brother Trav said, that barrel in the grill? What are your process, or what things do you have in place to mitigate those situations, man?
I think we kind of touched on this a little bit during our shooter live that you joined not too long ago, where I had never really felt that. I had a different approach to it. But I tell you what, one thing that for sure, I've been doing this for the last 10 years for sure. I read a quote a long time ago that says that a man that can paraphrasing, a man that can right his own wrongs by himself is a dangerous man. And I took that very seriously because I had done therapy. I had trying to console friends and all that stuff. And I was always the strong friend. So I didn't feel like I could go to other people. But when I was on my mission back then, which was school, just started dating my wife, trying to get out of the city, all this other kind of stuff. I got really big into meditation and I got really big into isolation. Where, for a lot of people, that's the opposite of what they want to hear. I'll go kick it with more friends or get some sunshine, all that stuff. I went into that metaphorical cave so that I could figure out my shit. And I had several real hard conversations with myself. But that's the best person to have them with, because nobody knows you like you. Nobody should know you better than you know yourself. And knowledge itself is so powerful, because then you realize that there is no good or bad. It's just, it is what it is. And it's up to you to figure out what you're going to do with whatever that situation is. with somebody cheating, or your child is sick, or the house didn't go through, or you got to keep look. We looked at 20 places before we got here. You know what I mean? And one offer fell through. So it's like being able to understand that you have to pivot on a lot of things, or rather having the ability, that mental flexibility to pivot, and understanding that you will still be tired, you will still be angry, you will still have all these emotions. They're not going to go anywhere, because honestly, they're there to teach you something. If you are the guy who gets mad at somebody stepping on your shoes, or taking your girl, or you not getting the promotion and all that stuff, and okay, you need to be able, you have the cognizance and the balls, the cojones, as you say. You got to have the willpower to sit down and say, okay, what did I do wrong in this situation? Why am I not getting what I want? Who am I to ask for these things? Why do I deserve them? And if I don't, how can I bridge that gap? You know what I mean? It's very important to be able to sit down with yourself, and even if it's no more that you can't stand 10 minutes a day. I used to sit down for about half an hour to an hour just trying to figure shit out on a regular basis. And now I can shrink that time. I used to, if me and my girlfriend were arguing about something, I'd be mad for 2 weeks, 2 whole weeks, thinking I'm doing something, thinking that I'm coming out on top, and all you're doing is pushing that person away. You're wasting time. So now, if something happens, I might be upset for a couple of hours, but at the end of it, I know I'm gonna have to sit down and figure out where I was wrong. So by the time that sun goes down, I can actually sleep at night, and I can sleep with my partner. It doesn't have to be a forever hate thing. You know what I mean? So it's just very important to make sure that you're taking that time to understand yourself, give yourself the love that you feel like you may not be getting from other people. And if you feel like you can't do that, you need to work your way up to it, because anybody who you tell your business to, there's a good chance they may run and tell somebody else. I hope not, but that's a fact. So if anything that you truly feel like you can't share with somebody else, you need to figure it out on your own, and you will give yourself more power in doing so, because it should, as I say all the time, if you feel like the world is against you, the least thing you could do is be on your own side.
I'm feeling that, man.
I gotta give a little bit of caveat and a slight pushback on some of that, because Edmund and I have talked quite a bit. Man, some problems you're just not gonna you shouldn't face by yourself. I actually just heard a stat, and it hits home with me, that we're now up to, we went from, in the past, 22 veterans a day committing suicide. We're up to now 44 a day.
I know that.
Is the new stat. Man, if you hit a point where when you hit a point where it feels like you just don't have any hope, go see somebody. Go see somebody. Go find somebody to talk to about what you got going on, man. Because it's one of those things that, while we can solve a lot of problems as men, like I said, once again, you got that stuffing down thing. I thought I could solve my own problems by just stuffing them down. That was me. I wasn't talking to other people about what I had going on. I wasn't talking to family or friends about the darkness that I was having inside me, about the nightmares that I was having, about the thoughts that I was having, about the fact that I didn't want to be here. I wasn't talking to anybody about that. I was just struggling with it by myself every day. And it was one of those fights that at times you have to open up and actually, I get what you're saying, but I'm just putting it out there to those who need to hear it. There are going to be times where you have to open up, man, and actually reach out. There's got to be a point, because a lot of people are fighting battles by themselves and losing right now.
No, I 100% agree. But that's the big. I'm so glad that you pushed back on that, because that's the thing that I'm talking about. Is I'm not talking about stuffing down. I wasn't stuffing anything. I was integrating. I was acknowledging the things that I knew were quote unquote wrong with me, and I was becoming okay with them, because I was on the path to do better. I was trying to fix those things. I was trying to heal. And yeah, I couldn't do everything by myself, but I had to start with me. And if there was something that I really couldn't figure out, I found a book, I found a person, I found therapy. but it's not the stuffing down part is the problem. You need to give those things light so that you can actually address them, and then they become tools for power for the man, not the putting everything in your backpack. That's the problem. But it's building up that muscle of, okay, I'm finding out new data about myself. I need to do something about that so that I can get to where I really need to be. But this stuffing down shit, I'm talking to everybody. This don't work no more. This don't work no more. That's all.
True. Both, man, good stuff, man. I think us learning how, and I'm not sure who put the comment. Your brother Chinzala said, yeah, he said, black men need panels like this for sure. Months of wisdom are packed into palatable live streams, a lot of value. Like we all need each other, man. Like to bottle it in and not share when you need to, it's very valuable, man. And I'll tell you this, like a lot of situations were like men in my life that have taken themselves out, either when I was young or back when I was in the military, a couple of friends. The signs were there, but you didn't really see it until after the fact. So us as men, we also got to be able to start listening to when men are saying things that they aren't saying. Like when a man says, like, man, I'm tired, bro. That means a whole lot when a man says, I'm tired, man. To another man, it means a lot, man. There's just a lot of signs and things that we got to be able to hear our brothers, man, and know our brothers. Like when y'all brothers talk, I'm sure if one of y'all said something that was off, y'all will pick it up. Like, okay, you normally don't talk like that.
He's done it to me.
Yeah,
Edmund's done it to me plenty of times now, and in the moment I hate him for it, but then I love him afterwards.
Both of y'all have done it to me. Both of y'all have called me on the phone like, "Hey man, you didn't seem like that," and I was like, "Bro, I'm glad you called because life was doing something. Appreciate it, and it changed my direction, man. So it's important, man. It's important, man. I want to transition into something, man, to start wrapping it up, man. One thing I love about what y'all do, man, you can get on YouTube, you can go on Instagram, and you can see people talking about issues, kind of like what we're talking about right now, whether it's mental health, whether it's finding purpose, whether it's masculinity. People are talking about certain things, and then they're just kind of leave you out there to hang, just to know that a problem exists. But one thing that I love that y'all do, man, is y'all talk about the issues, but then you present a solution. Y'all present a solution, man, an amazing solution, man. I love how y'all started the series at the feet of the masters, man. I believe where y'all kind of speak to different senseis and get different knowledge from them. How does that knowledge transfer into both your message and your course, which I want to talk about here in a second?
Sure. I would say that, man, as a martial artist, as somebody who went through and is constantly going through that evolutionary process of like self-defense, confidence, all that stuff, it was because I had men who were and you can go to female senseis as well, but I've mostly had men, so that's the experience that I'm talking through. Having men who have already done the thing that you're trying to do is paramount. Having that mentorship, somebody who can teach you the right way. There's so many different types of mentors and coaches out here, and you really just have to find one that is solid for you. Don't go in there thinking that just because they have a big class that they're the best teacher. That's not what it's about. Thanks. You could find a teacher that it ain't nothing but you and two other people in there, and that's going to be the best experience that you have. But it's really important to make sure that the reason why we started the series is because to bring those people to the forefront so that people can understand that there are avenues that you can go to that's just not your father or your grandfather or whatever male role model that you may have. There's a lot of men who just have dedicated their lives to teaching the sport or the art of, self-defense. Thanks. And then you're going to get all those lessons tertiary. You're going to get all those as an after effect. You may go in there wanting to learn how to jab and kick and throw and wrestle and all this stuff, but you're going to get a lot of life lessons on the back end of that, which are more important than the skills that you're trying to learn.
Facts, man. I love it, man. And I know that same energy is translated over into your course, the 8 Inner Gates, man, which I love that name. And I love the course. I've purchased the course, man. I love what y'all are doing. Travis, if you could, man, could you speak to the course? And really, when I say speak to the course, like who would you say the course is for? And when I say that, meaning what problems have y'all identified and what solutions are y'all offering for people?
So the course is built for the guys like us, to be honest. It's like the boys and men that Edmund and I have been through our journey is a, you know, a big piece of, you know, what we talk about is the Bushido, which is a principle in martial arts. It's, you know, eight principles. It's basically like your foundation in life, and realizing that through Edmund and I talking is like martial arts saved my life. Just I'd be in jail or dead right now if it wasn't for martial arts. Because as crazy, as wild as I was, is like if I didn't have martial arts to have that, I actually was pretty structured because I was in martial arts. I had some sort of regulation and a code about me of there's just certain things that I don't do because of martial arts. Where if I didn't have that, I mean, I've been wilding out in these. You saw me on the news.
Yeah.
But, you know, the Bushido was a big piece of that. You know, it teaches honor. You know, it teaches, you know, how to value different principles in your life. So, you know, honor, respect, duty and responsibility. I'm gonna miss some, Edmund, so keep hopping here whenever you want to.
Integrity. Yeah.
But, you know, it teaches some of these key principles that we're not taught. You know, it's like I don't know, maybe so you can answer this. When have you ever really grown up till now? How often did you hear somebody talk about honor?
Yeah, rare. I mean,
You know,
especially military days, and after that,
yeah.
it was it.
It's not something we hear about often.
No.
It's like talking about how to be an honorable man. I was like, I never heard that outside of martial arts. I never heard how to be, you know, about being an honorable man, masculine, manhood, these different things like that. But about having honor as a man, I've never heard it. And it's one of those things that, you know, those principles, like I said, lay this foundation for building a successful life, whether it be business or relationships or just self-improvement or whatever or martial arts, is like it sets that foundation for you to build the rest of your life on. Because if you don't have that solid foundation, man, you're building on quicksand.
Yeah.
Man, crucial. Go ahead, brother.
Sorry. Yeah, man, as you know, integrity for your self-integrity, respect, some type of code that you can follow as an individual, and that you're not following everything else that everybody else says, or trying to go with the herd type of mentality. You know, the things that I love about the things that we study, as far as, you know, whether it's the Kabbalion or the Bushido, it's still individualized. It's not some grand doctrine that every person needs to follow or else. It's how do I apply these things just to my life so that I can get to where I'm trying to get to. And then it trickles down to the family and, you know, your kids or your business or whatever. Because if a man is structured and has that self-mastery, everything else is easy. I did the hardest thing for anybody is just to get yourself in order. And there's a lot of mentors that will say, you know, it takes more time to change the mindset than it does to get the work done. But you got to get the mindset first. And that's why we put the course together, because for a lot of men who don't have the guidance to say, I don't know what honor looks like, I don't know what integrity looks like, or respect, or, you know, I don't know what type of relationship I want to be in, or I don't know how to start a business, or I don't even know, you know, if I get into a fight, it's curtains. You know, it's like you have to start somewhere. You might as well start with these 8 principles that will allow you to figure out what it is that I really want. This is how the individual can get to the point where they know who they are. They know where they're going. They know where their truth is. But you have to start with you. You know, so being able to go through these things, and it's not just the mindset stuff. We'll give you actionable steps to figure out, how do I save more money in 6 months? How do I put together some type of morning routine that gets me structured throughout the day? Whether it's putting your clothes out, how do you shake a man's hand properly, have that eye contact, head up, chest back, or head up, straight posture, all that kind of stuff. Like, we're gonna break down everything, even going into meditation. How do I just center myself so I'm not so reactionary to things? We've packed so much into this course. It's kind of like if I wasn't a part of Warriors Way Home, I would be looking for something like this, because it's just a matter of giving yourself the time to get that structure together so that you can get what you really want, which is peace. It's not happiness, it's
Yeah.
peace.
Yeah. And I'll say this, man. A lot of men need this and don't even know they need it yet until they get it or hear like y'all brothers talking about it or hear some of the things we talked about. Is the far majority of men need this, man. So again, it's called it's 8 inner gates. I put a link in the chat. I'm not sure if that link is a live link. But if they aren't able to click on that link and go straight to it, what should they go to? Could they go to Warriors Way Help? Should they go to the YouTube channel to find all your links, or what should they go to find?
They can check out the
You can
YouTube
go-
channel. They can check out our Instagram as well. It should be linked up there as well. So either one of those places, you should be able to find 8 Inner Gates, man. And highly recommend the course, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Even I know some of y'all ladies on here. If you have young men in your life that are of age, I'm not sure if there's a minimum. I think this is valuable for all ages. Because again, this is something that when I was past 40, I still found value in all of it. So I can only imagine if I would have got this at 21, 18,
right.
I would have been a different human being.
We did stand up like our lowest. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm so sorry.
No, bro.
Our lowest audience, like it's like 13.
Okay.
You know, and that's when you get to that point where, you know, prepubescence, you there should be something in school for this kind of stuff. Because at that age, you know, you're starting to get hairs in places, your voice getting deeper. You're more worried about the wrong things and trying to figure out what the structure of your life should be. So you're right. The sooner you can start to give yourself some type of proper foundation, and that's why I love the internet and everything being digital, because you can always come back to it. You can always fill out another page of it. You can always have another journal prompt. There's so many different things that, like, this is not gonna go away.
Facts. I'm gonna try to find some live links, but while I'm trying to find this live link, man, could y'all speak on, because I know y'all are heavy into community, and I'm talking about like the digital community, man, that digital, that back end space. Can y'all speak on some of the communities that y'all have, man, the benefits and how they can get into those communities, man?
Yeah, so you know, community is huge, man. It's like that's how he and I met. You know, Edmund and I met in the Power Circle. You know, so we are definitely living, breathing examples of what community could be. And, you know, a big reason for me hopping in Power Circle was I needed to get around some more masculine energy, man. I'm gonna be real about it. That was my biggest thing. I was around women all day, you know, doing massage and training and different things like that, and being it. And I think what you said is key. A lot of times, you know, when you're the, I don't want to say the most masculine man in the room, you know you're lacking something. I was like, I know I could be going farther than I am, but it's like I need to be more around that go get it type of energy. It was a little too relaxed for me, and I felt like I was getting I'm not soft, but I felt like I didn't feel like I was living up to my fullest. And I got in the Power Circle and started hearing the conversations, and, you know, meeting you, and, you know, Edmund and I linked on on a call. He reached out, I was like, hey, you're in Colorado, let's meet up, and we met, man, and just the conversation, I was like, bro, this is what it was. This is what I needed. And just how things have gone and progressed in our business, just having somebody else who's on that journey with you, man. Community is so important, because so many of us feel like we're doing this shit by ourselves.
Yeah.
So many of us feel like we're doing this by ourselves. And I think sometimes it's because we feel like we don't have a choice, but you do have a choice about it. You're not the only one going through the situation you're going through. There's other people who have gone through it, who have successfully gone through it, made it on the other side, who are willing to be like, hey, bro, I went through the same thing. This happened to me. This is how I did it. And like you always say, iron sharpening iron, man. It's so important, because we don't have tribes, communities anymore as guys. We just don't. Unless you're in the military, police, or something along those lines, or in the dojo. But most of the time, guys don't have that tribe of men that are, you know, all separately going towards a singular destination. And that's super important. That's why we, you know, actually you inspired us to actually start the community, because we took Soul's course, and he inspired us to, you know, to get off our asses and actually start doing some stuff that we probably could have been doing before. But hey, you know, he inspired us to do the course, but also to tap into the community aspect of things, because it's such a key piece to not just learn the things and feel like you're by yourself and doing a self-study, but actually reach out and be able to actually talk and have conversations and grow as men together. So we, hopped in and, we got a free community called Warbound. We also have a paid community called the Legion Men of Mastery, teaching, self-mastery and these tenets that we're working on and, moving forward to create well-rounded men, well-rounded modern day warriors.
Nice. What do y'all have in the forecast, man? What's coming down the pipe for 2025, 2026 maybe?
I would say, go ahead.
I mean, I should list out one of y'all. Right?
We do it all the time, and we're used to it by now.
Yeah. Building out the community for sure. Just getting as much men in there. Like we said, it's free, so just getting them in there to be able to have some resources that they can both take care of on their own and also be able to ask questions about. You know what I'm saying? Like we had the book club with you with Way of the Superior Man and a couple other texts. We want to do the same thing for them.
Nice.
Weekly challenges, monthly challenges. We just want to build that out as much as we can. Maybe an ebook that might come out, but for right now, we're so focused on the course and making sure that that's the most viable it can be for all ranges and also the community. I mean, I would say that's a good amount of it. Go ahead, Travis.
I'm gonna
nice,
say,
man.
So just a warning, Evan.
Yeah.
Just throwing a grenade. We're also looking at doing, by the end of 2025, doing our first boot camp as well.
Nice.
So we really sat down and looked at, we're doing all these things online, but bringing guys together in a place where we can actually do some of these teachings live in place and have like the challenges, learning the martial arts, doing the hard things, sitting down and dealing with some of the, the trauma that we've suffered in our lives and actually doing that. So we're calling it the Crucible, and it's we're looking at doing it. It's going to be, probably about 72-hour boot camp. Just it's going to be amazing. Super excited about it. We're going to get into more details of it later, but that's something that we're shooting for by the end of 2025. So I'm gonna put it out there right now and bring it into existence. So I know I can see Evan's face. That's why I warned him with the grenade thing. It's like, hey, bro.
Yeah. It gets us moving. It gets us moving. Yeah, because what we're doing is so necessary. Because Travis likes to throw grenades, which just means that let's aim for a big goal.
Yeah.
But to his point, one of the things that we talk about is that if we set a big enough goal, we're forced to move towards it, and however close we get is better than where we started. So it's really just about that forward momentum. I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to have it. I just want to make sure that it's perfect. But perfection is kind of the enemy of progress. So it's better to aim for something so big that you can't even see it, but then it gets you close to that goal, that ultimate goal.
Yeah. Man, I want to say this, man, before we close out, man. I again, like I said before, I'm so proud of where y'all brothers have come from, man. And it's like in a circle. When I saw y'all brothers starting to chop in a circle and say, hey, yeah, we're gonna start a YouTube, I thought y'all had always known each other until y'all said, oh yeah, we just kind of met. I'm like, dang, it's a beautiful thing, man. And I'm proud of, as my brothers, man, I'm proud to see where y'all started that thing, and in an amount of time y'all, again, going to saying, hey, some people speak on something, but some people speak on it and then do it. Y'all said, we're going to start a YouTube channel. Boom, we're going to do it. We're going to get on other platforms. We're going to do it. We're going to start a business. We're going to do it. So now when you say we're going to have this event at the end of the year or whenever it comes into be, I already know it's going to take place. I already see myself there. You know what I'm saying? Because I know how y'all move, man. And I'm glad that y'all move like that, because now brothers that are watching this, brothers that are in the circle, brothers that just see how y'all move, know that it's possible. That if you move towards a certain thing, that it'll come to be. So wrapping up, man. First off, saying I appreciate y'all, but wrapping up, I want both of y'all to chime in on Brother C.J. Wilkins' question, and then we'll close out, man. He says, "What are the top 3 things of a self-actualized man?" Let me read it again. What are the top 3 things a self-actualized man can do to expand paradigms, entrepreneurially and financially, once they've done the work on themselves? And I want both of y'all to chime in on that, man, if y'all will.
For sure.
Go ahead, Edmund. You got this one.
Sorry. One first thing I would say is that the work is never done. The work is never done, because there's always, the more you learn about yourself, the more you're going to learn about yourself. But 3 things that you would do to change your paradigm. One, I would say, is practice some type of self-love, whether it's getting massages, going for walks, meditation, whatever it is for you, getting more in tune with what you're not gonna be able to fill any hole in your life with things from the outside. So doing some more self gratification, that's one for sure. As far as your entrepreneurial and financial goals, man, just figuring out what type of service you can provide to the world and then sticking to that, even if you're just one step, like we're just one step ahead of the other guy. And that's why we're able to build something like this, is because we're trying to move in the right direction and bring people along with us. Financially, save and invest, but make sure that you're taking a certain amount of whatever your paycheck is, your income, putting it to the side so that you can either invest in something or save in something for house, car, family, whatever you want to call it. But the more you are able to accumulate as an individual, the more secure you feel, and then the more expansion you feel like you can do. You know what I mean? So it's like if you have a rowboat and you want to get to a yacht, you got to keep building little by little in order to get to that bigger thing. But you're not going to take on the risk of putting all the stuff that goes in a yacht in a rowboat, because you're going to sink. So expand out that platform so that you can have you have a place to put all the things that you actually want.
Facts. What say you, brother Charles?
So man, the paradigm. One of the best ways I found to break a paradigm is getting uncomfortable. You have to get uncomfortable, because it becomes one of those things where it's you get stuck, and over time, if you do something long enough, it becomes a pattern. If you do that pattern long enough, it becomes a habit. If you do that habit long enough, it becomes a lifestyle. You have to break that. You have to break that habit by doing something else. It's like, whether it be changing the direction, even something small is changing the direction you go to work every day. Starting to make those changes, changing the way you eat. We fast in the group a lot of times, which breaks a lot of paradigms. It's like, if you know that you're not living a super healthy life, start fast. One of the easiest ways to break a paradigm, if you're not living a healthy life, is to stop doing and do something severe, to stop that in that moment, to just switch that, make that switch in your mind. It's like, okay, I've been living this way for so long, or I'm not happy where I'm at. Move. You're not a tree. Move. It's like, pick up, figure out what you need to do to get where you want to be, and go to another place. If you feel like you're stuck in the same job, okay, figure out, what do you really want to do with your life? Figure out, what else are you capable of, in that. So you got to be able to you got to start getting uncomfortable in order to break that. As far as the entrepreneur and business side of things, investing in yourself is one of the best things you can do. I would say, making that investment, especially as a business owner, because a lot of times we get so involved in doing the thing. We work so much on the business that in the business, that we don't work on the business. Invest in yourself. Figure out who's been where you want to go, and follow them. If they have a course, get into it. If they have a mastermind, get into it. That's why we got into exit strategies with Soul, because he's done some of the things that we wanted to do. And it's like, well, could we have figured this out on our own? Yeah. Would it have taken us way longer? We would have broke a lot of stuff. Absolutely. It's like, pay for the speed. Is like, figure out what you don't know, and go pay somebody to learn it. Whether, like I said, whether it be a mastermind or whether it be a course or anything like that, invest back into yourself. One of the best things I heard was, and all of us know this, is LeBron James. He invests how much into his body? That his body is his business. Mm-hmm. He invests millions and millions and millions of dollars a year to invest in his business, to keep himself going. That's why he's one of the best in the world. Not just because of genetics, not just because of talent or all these different things, but because he keeps making that investment in himself. He reaches a new notch and invests even more into himself to keep himself growing and keep himself going in that way. Last one, as far as financially, I would say financially, one of the best things you could probably do is figure out a way to expand your income. Because especially today, jobs are not secure. I'm just going to be real about it. This is like a lot of layoffs going. So figure out a way. You don't, and not necessarily saying start a business or do these different things like that, but figure out what you're passionate about and figure out a way to make money doing it. Like Edmund was saying, start to figure out a way to bring in other sources of income, whether it be, I don't care, you're making clay pots and selling them at the strip mall on the weekends or whatever it may be, or you start making investments online, or you start a YouTube channel or whatever it may be that starts getting you on a path to where you can start realizing that there's other ways that you can start making money to bring in, because there's always going to be bills coming in. It's like, but if you can keep that money flowing in different ways, you worry a lot less about what's going out.
Facts. Big facts, man. Well, again, man, I just want to say thank y'all for carving out time, man, to come in and go live with me today, man. It's been a long time coming, and it won't be the last time. We need to do this quite often, brothers. I believe y'all offer tons of value, man. I believe y'all are some men that are able to tap into spaces within self that a lot of men either fear tapping into or unaware that exist that they can tap into, man. So I think y'all are doing an amazing job. Again, these brothers, Brother Travis, Brother Edmund, Warrior's Way Home. Everything's Warrior's Way Home, man. I left a link to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the TikTok. Subscribe to the Instagram. But definitely check out the course. Extremely affordable. And when I say value on 10, brothers, value on 10, I vouch for it, man. These brothers are putting in. Yeah, these brothers are putting in the work and haven't even started within the course. Once you get in the course, like with the community and everything that's coming up, it's going to be doing amazing things. So get in there before them brothers jack the price up, because I know they're going to jack it up in a little bit because it's valuable. So go ahead and get in there before the price gets hiked up.
So appreciate that, man.
Again, thank y'all a million. Thanks, man. Finding your way, brothers. Finding your way, man. It's all about, everybody's on different parts of the path. Some people are just not coming into awareness. Some people are on down the path, having issues with trauma, having issues with relationship, having issues with parents or whatever, or their kids. It's all about finding your way, man. So again, thanks everybody for joining, and we will see y'all on the next live. When was the last time you woke up and did exactly what you wanted to do? When was the last time you woke up and said, you know what? I don't know what time it is. I don't know what day it is, but I'm just going to wake up and be great. Be my own version of myself. I'm telling you, brothers, you haven't achieved true freedom until you can wake up and do that. Now, I've been talking about what it feels like to wake up every single day and it feels like Saturday. Now it's time I show you how I got to that point. Now it's time that I'm allowing people to work with me directly. I'm not talking about taking some course and never hearing from me. I'm talking about working with me directly. I'm talking about you networking with the people I'm networked with. I'm talking about you learning exactly what I did to get from corporate America to true freedom. I've been talking about this freedom for so long. I've been saying every day should be Saturday. Now is your time to click this button and learn from me directly. Let me show you the way.